And welcome to the first ever installment of Recreate WWE Booking #1 WWE Story. This is where I put myself in the driver's seat as if I were on the creative team, as if I were booking certain angles, certain matches, certain predicaments, whether it be on a Raw, a SmackDown, or a pay-per-view. For the debut episode of Recreate WWE Booking #1, we're going to be talking about what I would do with Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. Now, I'm going to go within the confines of the storyline. It left off on Monday Night Raw. Randy Orton finally turned on the Authority. Randy Orton, he really took it to Seth Rollins. He destroyed Seth Rollins. He RKO'd Seth Rollins through the announcer's position. And that was a very entertaining segment. It was a great angle. You know, the lead up, the drama, we pretty much knew what to expect, but I don't think even Seth Rollins knew just how bad the beating was going to be. So now, as they're starting to, freshen up this thing and make it red hot between Orton and Rollins, here is what I would do. So we're 1 week removed, once this Raw comes on in a few days' time, we're one week removed from Randy Orton dismantling Seth Rollins and Randy Orton really going to that place in his career. We have 2 Raws to go. Here's what I would do. I'd have Randy Orton come out and once again talk about the beatings, and then he would ask for Seth Rollins to come to the ring, and Randy Orton lays out a challenge, a WrestleMania challenge for WrestleMania. Seth Rollins doesn't show up. Seth Rollins doesn't respond. We get Seth Rollins via satellite at his home in a wheelchair saying that his career is ended, saying that the beating Randy Orton gave him was so vicious that he may never be the same again, that he may never be able to step foot in the ring again. Make this really serious. Build it up. And I know we only got 2 more weeks before WrestleMania. I understand there's only 2 more Raws before WrestleMania, but you got to understand, if it were me running things, I would have started doing these antics with Orton turning on Seth Rollins. I would have done this a couple of weeks ago, so it could have built up. But we know the WWE, they build something up, and it doesn't have that time to get you emotionally invested because things are so fast. Things move so quick nowadays. So this Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins shows up in a wheelchair, says, "My career could be over. I'll never be the same again." So then Randy Orton gets put in a handicap match against J&J Security and Kane and the Big Show. Somehow, some way, Randy Orton is able to overcome those odds. So that's what we do on that Monday Night Raw. Then the next Monday Night Raw, which would be the final one before WrestleMania, here's what I would do. I would Seth Rollins arrive in the arena. I'd have maybe Stephanie McMahon bring Rollins or Triple H, help him into the arena in the wheelchair. He's got the crutches. He's got the whole thing going on. Maybe even a neck brace, maybe even something around his leg. I don't know, just to make it look real bad, right? So then Stephanie McMahon confronts Randy Orton. Triple H would then confront Randy Orton, and Randy Orton would once again be put into a match, this time against, run the gauntlet. I'd have Randy Orton run the gauntlet against, once again, the Big Show, Kane, J&J Security, and maybe even a couple other heels, okay? Randy Orton's about to defeat either Kane or the Big Show, and then all of a sudden, Seth Rollins is at ringside in the wheelchair. Blindsides Randy Orton. Seth Rollins shocks everybody, comes out of the wheelchair, and just dismantles Randy Orton, attacks him from behind, and then this would set up Rollins and Orton. But this thing just can't end at WrestleMania. This just can't be one of those deals where it's a one-off match. I was thinking about this long and hard, how they would set this up. I mean, had Orton turned a couple of weeks ago, this whole storyline of Rollins being confined to a wheelchair, it would have been more believable had Rollins went with that for another 2 or 3 weeks, but maybe even 3 or 4 weeks if you're looking at this thing. But no, I think this has the makings of an incredible match. I think they're going to have great chemistry. We have seen Orton and Rollins go at it many months ago on Monday Night Raw, and they definitely can put together a great match. But if I were in charge of creative, this is how I would go about the booking. Make it look like Rollins can't wrestle, he can't compete. Randy Orton beat him so bad that maybe Seth Rollins would want to press charges. But then Seth Rollins obviously, fools everybody and fools Randy Orton and says, well, who's the fool now? Who's on top of the world now? Who's always one step ahead? Randy, that's why I'm the future of this company. And, Seth Rollins could, bash that, and put that in Orton's face and rub some salt in the wound, maybe even hit another curb stomp on Randy Orton. Or Rollins gets out of the wheelchair on the final Raw before WrestleMania, only for Randy Orton to catch him, and then he gets an RKO on him. Now, as it concerns the match at WrestleMania, here's what I would do. Once the match happens at WrestleMania, I'd have Orton versus Rollins. I'd have Orton control most of the match. I'd have Orton look dominant and supreme. But in the end, Seth Rollins ultimately gets the victory. And from there, Rollins gets the win, but Orton hits an RKO after the match. Then we get the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We get Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. After the match, whomever wins, here comes Seth Rollins. He's going to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase. All of a sudden, Randy Orton comes in, bam, hits an RKO. Either before the bell rings or as the match is happening when the referee gets knocked down. Orton hits an RKO and knocks Rollins out of WWE World Championship contention. And that's how this feud could further evolve and get involved, as I say a lot on these episodes. So what I'm looking forward to is your comments and your opinions. And like I said, I would have drew this out a little bit longer. I would have had Orton turn a couple of weeks ago to make the story, have more aggression and more believability behind it. But we're only working with 2 more Raws here, so it's kind of hard. But your comments, your opinions, and this is just the route I would go. This is WWE Booking Recreated Part 1. If you want more videos like this, hit me up with a subscriber button and like comments.